have abundance of talent, isn't it?
Yes.
The saddest part is we don't use it. Do you know which talent I am describing here? Any guesses? Smiling talent.
Oh.
Okay. Smiling is one of the greatest talent which is missed again and again. Let's not miss today. Let's do one small exercise. I'll be telling start, you need to smile like this. My smile is not good, don't focus on my smile. And when I say stop, you need to stop smiling. Let's do this activity for twice. Okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Start. Stop. Start. Stop. Thank you very much. Just for the audience, this is not smiling meeting. This is speaking meeting. While we speak, you keep smiling. I don't want to hear the crying sound. You know what? The crying sound of your mobile phones. Please put them in silent or vibration mode. Just give me signal if you have done it. Thank you. There are 3 things we will not be speaking or discussing in this room. 3 topics. Religion, politics, and the sex. Because unintentionally or unknowingly, we may hurt some other person's sentiment. Why to take that much negative risk? It is best to avoid it. And you can freely roam in this room only when you hear the energetic sound of applause. Let's move on. There was one little cute girl who was in her grade 3. Whenever she comes back to her home from her school, she dances and comes. She was enjoying her every moment at those days. Now also she is enjoying. And the thing is that she's so talented. She does all the homework by herself without taking help from her mama. When she go outside to play, she thinks the complete world is her playground. And she's filled with full of adventure and excitement. Now she is grown up, a beautiful girl. But she has one problem. Right now, she is sometimes procrastinating and postponing the things which she was not doing it in her childhood days. I think and I am sure she will be overcoming this thing with her disciplined approach and with her gorgeous smile. Not my smile, her smile is really good. So she is none other than our president. Let's put your hands together to welcome our president of today's meeting, Toastmaster Amrith.
Thank you, Toastmaster Imtiaz, for that extremely joyful and smiling introduction. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Now, I call to order meeting number 1505. Do we have any guests? Okay, may I request you to please stand. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope that you all will have a great time. And members, how do we welcome our guests? May be seated. Thank you so much. Once again, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Now, before we start today's meeting, I would like to call upon the secretary of our club, Toastmaster to read out the minutes of meeting for meeting number 1504.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
The last week
we had lesson session, and the theme was feedback is the compass for greatness. The word of the day was implement, and there was an education session or rather evaluation workshop given by Toastmaster Abhinava, and these were the elected committee members for the upcoming term from January to June 2026. The elected president, as you can see, was Toastmaster Amrith. The elected VP Education was Toastmaster Srinivas. The Vice President Membership was Toastmaster Balakrishna Rao. The elected Vice President Public Relation was Toastmaster Bhavna. The next is what members. I did not forget. I am testing if you guys are listening to my report. Yes. Next is secretary, and it is none other than elected Toastmaster Abhinava, who will be giving the icebreaker today. The next is the treasurer, who elected treasurer, that was Shivangi Bhatt. And last but not least, the energetic elected SAA is Toastmaster Imtiaz Akthar Basha. Over to you.
Any amendments, dear members, in the minutes of meeting? No? Okay. So we'll pass the minutes of meeting for meeting number 1504. Now, as you heard, our standing sergeant at arms, Toastmaster Imtiaz, telling the story about that little kid. That little kid, and our theme for today is to not waste talent. Now, to waste something, you first have to have it, right? And as he said, I definitely didn't have any talent. Until he called me and he made me realize that there must be something. And I was like, yeah, something that I've heard my mother telling me that, growing years, I used to finish my work first thing first. But as I grew up, my fear grew taller than me. And I became a world-class procrastinator. I became so good at delaying things that I could organize a master class in procrastination. I can plan it, I can teach it, and postpone it also. Now, procrastination is something that you have to really work on. And there is one place which is Toastmasters that when I joined, it has really helped me to overcome procrastination. As I started taking more and more roles at Toastmasters, I started doing the most important things first. And that has given me the confidence to come here and stand. Now, whenever you try to change something, it comes with a lot of pain, right? But no pain, no gain. And however much we say no pain, no gain, but in fact the thing is that pain is an inevitable part of our life. Whether you choose to do a thing or choose to not do a thing. If you choose to not do a thing, you will live with the pain of regret. But if you choose to do something, then there is a pain of discipline. The good part is that with the pain of discipline, after the work is done, it gives you a lot of pleasure. So I have been friends with the regret for many, many years. And after joining Toastmasters, I decided to do a breakup with the regret and to commit to discipline. Now, you have heard the story of the kid, the lost and found story of the talent of this kid. But now I'm going to call someone who is talent personified. Now, he is someone who started, whose mantra is that not to waste your talent even for a single day. He started when he was 16 years old. He started his entrepreneurial journey. When we were trying to finish our homeworks, he figured out a business plan. And how did it happen? One day, when he was in 11th standard, his teacher asked all the students to bring some old test papers to practice. Next day, he was the only person to come up with those sample model test papers. And because he was the only one who had it, everyone approached him to get a copy of it, and he saw a business opportunity. And that is how he started his printing business. He went on to meet the CFO of the school and took the contract of printing for the school. After completing his school, he did not stop there. He started many other business ventures. A few I would name, like starting a center for Gems Academy or Leverage Academy, or even starting a center for Brahmins in Kochi, which is his hometown. He is passionate about meeting people, meeting founders, and learning from their experiences. He feels and believes that Toastmaster is a privilege, and he has been part of this privilege for the last 2 years. So ladies and gentlemen, to take our meeting forward, let me invite to our Toastmaster of the day, the entrepreneur and the standout talent, Toastmaster George Matthew.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Am I audible? Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Amrith Kaur, for that very motivating introduction. Really hyped me up for the team what you wrote today. Well, fellow Toastmasters and guests, some people say the saddest thing in life is heartbreak. How many of you agree? Yeah, I know you guys agree. Some say it's failure. Well, I don't think so. The saddest thing in life is waking up one day and realizing I had so much more in me, but I never used it. In the movie A Bronx Tale, this one line hit me right on the chest. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. It didn't feel like a dialogue, it felt very personal. The story is simple. A boy named Kaur, who's in the Bronx, is pulled between two different men. On one side, his dad, Lorenzo, a bus driver, an honest man, but poor, but he could sleep well at night. On the other side, Sonny, a neighborhood don with money, power, and fear. Kaur stands between two different paths, his father's integrity and Sonny's shortcuts. It's not about a good job versus a bad one, it's character versus convenience. The warning isn't about careers, it's about trading yourself for something that looks very easy. The saddest thing in life isn't a simple life or a flashy one. It's wasting your talent by choosing a life that isn't yours. Now forget the Bronx and let's come to real life. We all know some people who are just coasting by their lives, same jobs, same complaints, and that one dialogue. One day I'll do it. They're talented. They're not useless, they're talented. But that talent never got to use. And sometimes that may be us. Even I had my own moment, like Toastmaster Amrith mentioned. I started my company at 18. Everyone around me called me up, family, relatives, friends. George, are you mad? Then I joined college, thinking they might be right. Dropped out after 2 months and decided to take a risk on my talent, then get live in a safety net and get stuck. When I came back to college right now, it wasn't about proving them wrong. It was about knowing that I didn't waste my talent back then. And that's where Toastmaster brings us. This room gives us a place to practice being the real version of ourselves. Every time we come on stage, we get an opportunity to really bring out our talent here on stage without hiding it. So, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Make sure whatever you do, your life doesn't prove that to be true. And if you're wondering what it looks like when someone doesn't waste their talent, think about Rakshi's Medley. Over 100 years ago, on October 22nd, 1924, he saw a simple problem. People were scared to speak and lead, and he turned his talent for teaching into something bigger than himself. And that's how Toastmaster began, in a YMCA basement back in Santa Ana, California, as one small club with one big idea. Today, that idea has grown into Toastmaster International, with more than 40,000 clubs in around 150 countries and over 300,000 members worldwide. People all over the world use this space to work on their communication and leadership skills, one meeting at a time. Now, moving on to the Toastmasters format for those guests and new Toastmaster members who are not so familiar. So, every Toastmaster meeting has a standardized format. It consists of 3 segments: prepared speeches, table topic sessions, and evaluation session. Prepared speeches is when a speaker beforehand prepares on a topic and speaks on front of you today. And table topics is when a member is called to speak impromptu on a topic. And finally, evaluation, the most important part, is when the entire meeting is evaluated by the general evaluator. For the evaluation part, the general evaluator is assisted by 3 auxiliary role takers, and they are called the tag team: timer, counter, and grammarian. I will introduce you to the general evaluator before his session in the later part of the meeting. Now, please allow me to introduce you to the tag team. First up, we have the timer, an IT entrepreneur whose talent, when I asked him, was marathon running. Let's give it up for Toastmaster Manish Goyal.
Thank you, Toastmaster George, for the introduction. So, being on the time is a wonderful skill, and because it builds foundation of trust. My manager trusted me during my struggle days because I showed up on the time. And today I will be helping you to build this skill. To build that skill, I will be showing the timer allotted to the every role taker here, and I will be showing the different cards for their timings. For the prepared speech section, there is a timing allotted 5 to 7 minutes. For 5 minutes, I will show the green card, and for 6 minutes, I will show the yellow card, and for 7 minutes, I will show the red card. After that, 30-second grace period is there, and then bell will be ringed. Before that, you have to finish your speech. For table topic, timing is 1 to 2 minutes. For 1 minute is the green card, and 1 minute 30 seconds is the yellow card. Then 2 minutes there will be red card. And similarly for evaluation session, timing allotted for 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes I will be showing the green card. 2 minutes 30 seconds I will be showing the yellow card, and 3 minutes I will be showing the red card, and following by the 30-minute grace. And at the end of the meeting, I will present the report of the time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manish, for that very clear introduction to your role. Next up, we have the counter, who's a certified financial planner, and her talent, when I asked, was adaptability. She said, "You put me anywhere, and I'll adapt." So for that, let me call upon Toastmaster Sonal Sharma.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Today I'm your counter, and my job is to catch words like so many, and you know, I know, and like this. And like this will be all verbal speed breakers which sneaks into our speech just like uninvited relatives in our Indian weddings. So be confident while presenting your speech, just like the AR Rahman music. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonal Sharma. Next up, we have the grammarian. The grammarian last minute changed its Toastmaster Rashi, who is a yoga instructor, and we have so much in common because she's into entrepreneurship as well. So let me invite Toastmaster Rashi.
A very happy evening to dear Toastmasters and guests.
Happy evening.
It is my responsibility to introduce the word of the day, which is squander. It means to waste something valuable like your time, money, talent in a careless way. And to use it in a sentence, let's not squander this meeting because the snacks aren't the only reason we're here. It is also my responsibility to note the good and the not so good usage of the English language. And I encourage all of you to use the word of the day and keep learning.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashi, on that short and crisp introduction to your role. Now, before we take this meeting forward, Toastmaster Abhinava had instructed me to make notes on speeches for the speakers who are coming up here. If you guys remember last time, we had a whole evaluation session. So he will be putting out the form during the end of the meeting, I believe. Yes. And now, let's start with our first segment of the meeting, the prepared speeches. For that, we have an evaluator who's an investment banker at PwC. And I'm assuming his talent is investment banking because he did not tell me. Where's Toastmaster Mahesh Lokesh? Mahesh Lokesh? Oh, sorry, apologies. Well, to the role, I guess, yes.
Good evening, everyone. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Wishing the best to the speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mahesh. Since this is Toastmaster Mahesh's first evaluation, he will Toastmaster Sheeb Kumar will be evaluating Toastmaster Mahesh on the evaluation, who's a teacher, I believe, and sorry. And his talent, when I asked him, he said he's trying to become a better listener. So let's give it up for Toastmaster Sheeb Kumar. For the objectives.
I think I'm evaluating Toastmaster. My introduction gave me that evaluation for the first time. So I'll be following the basic structure of the evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sheeb Kumar. Now, first off, we have a speaker from the same university I study in St. Joseph's, who's doing his BA Economics. And when I asked him about his talent, it was tennis, basketball. He's multi-talented, guys. It's going to be his icebreaker speech, so I'll let him speak for himself. Let's give a round of applause for Toastmaster Abhinava.
Okay. Before I start, is everybody comfortable? Excited, comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm not. I really prepared hard for this speech. This speech was completely based on my research. So if you have any questions regarding this speech, please feel absolutely hesitant to ask. I'm afraid of questions. Anyway, when I was 4 years old, of course I was 4 years old, I was in my LKG. I had skillfully mastered 3 questions that would actually get me anywhere. So, of course, I asked a lot more questions. We are children at heart. But these 3 questions I asked my parents every single day. First one was, when is Diwali? Of course, I love Diwali, and I actually like the lights of it. Second one is, can I skip school for today? The third one is, can I have some Maggi? Of course, it had become a ritual for my mother when she was cooking breakfast that I come up to her and go like, Amma, when is Diwali? Yeah. Okay, so, but cut short to 18-year-old me, I would absolutely disregard with his idea that I was absolutely confident. Because if I try to ask my mother and father the same question of when is Diwali, they'll ask me, why, are you scared? Are you scared of the pataki and stuff? But no, this confidence issue, the insecurity that I was feeling, it's actually one of the reasons why I struggle in speech. Another example for this is another few months ago. I was participating in a speech in my college, a debate in my college. It was a political debate. It was about the partition of India. So I was against the partition. So I did my research, I gathered my facts, and when I was called upon to the stage, I was like really in a horrible situation. I was struggling. I really struggled. I managed to get a few words in, after which I had to run out of the room in fear. It was a really horrible experience. It was very weird too, because when I went back the next day to ask my friends how the debate went, my team had lost because of me. And it was very hilarious to see me run out with tears streaming down my face. So the ugly events like this actually shaped my confidence, it bent me down. This was not one event that happened, because a lot of things took place similar to this. Because the last time I actually spoke on a stage previous to that debate was on 3rd standard, and I was trying to be a leader of the class. So obviously I had no experience, I had no practice, nothing was going on with me. So when I stepped to that podium, I was fear-stricken. If that podium was actually a crime scene, it would be smeared with my blood and tears. No, it was a very horrible event. So incidents like this actually shaped my identity, because then I used to think that I'm just not good enough. Maybe I'm that kind of a person who's just not skilled enough to speak in front of a stage, in front of a public setting. So I did my research, further research on how to become a better orator, a better communicator. I squandered some of my time trying to search on Google on how to speak better. Nothing really useful, nothing really helped out also. So after a few more searches, I found Toastmasters. My first impression of Toastmasters was, oh, snacks. Really, I promise you, that was my first impression. Because I was too scared to actually confront the fact that I had to speak every single meeting. So after a few guest sessions, I realized that this place was actually my second home. People judged here, not for the reasons that you might think. They want you to improve, they're on the same mindset as you are. So that kind of, made me feel a bit better and more relaxed. Another observation that I made personally that would actually help me to skill building was your style of communication is directly related to your identity. Come to think of it, if you were in 6th grade and you hated that one teacher who was always strict at everyone, her style of communication would have been very rude, right? You wouldn't like her style of communication. Maybe she doesn't like her job. Maybe she wouldn't want to teach, or maybe she's just tired of you guys when you were in 6th grade. And you may also find that one boss that you may dislike. So they may speak very sternly, they may give you projects that you may not like. So there are those kind of people who have that kind of communication that is directly attached to their identity. Have you ever had that kind of person in your life who's very charismatic, confident, who's not afraid to speak, who's not afraid to be judged? Have you ever seen him, and have you ever also seen him stutter and be so scared? No, right? So I did this, this was kind of a very simple, easy and small realization. It's not a major breakthrough, but so I realized that I actually have to shape my identity, because I was really unclear on what I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. I really like economics, that's good, but I didn't realize who I want to be in the future and how helpful I wanted to be in other people in my life and in my family. So the best thing I could do was use a guiding example in my life. My uncle, he introduced me to Toastmasters at Nikon Club, and when he was there, I just realized that he also was a past member of many other clubs too, maybe not in Bangalore. So after a few more guest sessions and talking to people and trying to observe myself, I realized that I suffered from one single thing: confidence. Because as you can see, for the past few minutes I spoke really well because I was confident. I prepared for my speech. But if you have a speech not prepared, then you would struggle with confidence, and when you struggle with confidence, then I would actually not speak very well. So I realized my only issue here was confidence, because of course I'm afraid of how I look, I'm afraid of how I speak, the quality of content in my head. Then, so I realized to be better, it could be anything, to be a better version of yourself, to be a better version of your parents, to be a better version of your how you would be as a person in life. It all boils down to one thing: all roads lead to Rome. It's all about your confidence. Okay, fun trivia facts about me, because this is an icebreaker after all. I love mountaineering. I have climbed a few mountains. Please exclude the fact that climbing the stairs doesn't count as one, because that's the majority of the things that I do. But I love to play basketball. I'm tall. That's a natural assumption for sports. Table tennis is also good. I study a lot. I'm working on a few books right now. One of the majority book that I'm working on is titled Project Shastry, and you will soon know what it is, because it has to deal directly with confidence. This is a major experiment for me. I will do a few more things to talk to other people, improve my speech at home itself, and read a lot of books, watch a lot of Marvel shows. Nothing much more actually. So my last message for everyone is that confidence is the key. It's not only the key, but it's also the whole door itself, because it can either block your way or it can actually lead you to the path that you want to go. That's it. Thank you.
Abhinava, sorry. Apologies. I think that charismatic and confident person was him today. Let's give him a round of applause again. Yeah, I mean, as tradition, it's natural for a Toastmaster to give us a standing ovation when he finishes an icebreaker speech. So, now you guys are all standing to me. I'm sorry. Thank you, Toastmaster. Apologies again, because I missed out the speech title. It was Be Your Parent. Now, next up, we have the evaluator for the second speech, who is Toastmaster George, who works at Airbus for the past 13 years, who is an assembly expert. And his talent is deep technical expert in materials. Let's give a round of applause for Toastmaster George.
Good evening, everyone. The second speaker, the purpose of the speech is for the member to practice vocal variety or body language to enhance the speech. So, timer, please note that the time duration 5 to 7 minutes, and wish all the best to the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster George. Next up, we have a speaker who works as a product manager at TCS, and his talent is he invests in time. So let's have Toastmaster Balakrishna Rao with the speech title The Missing Habit. The Missing Habit, Toastmaster Balakrishna Rao.
So good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. So imagine you are sitting in a cinema hall. You come on time, reach on time, just like me. So what happens? Endless trailers and ads. To begin with, maybe perhaps on the upcoming blockbuster, Coolie, and something which is a far less glamorous thing, which most coolies, including others, do, is smoking, chewing gudka, the after effects of it. So it's a grim scene that you want to avoid, you can't see, and all that. And the same theatre, cinema hall, plays an ad wherein so-called 3 Bollywood stars come in and say, Bolo Zuba kaise? Pan masala. Actually, they should have done like this on the audience who thinks these people consume the product. And then we have Swachh Bharat campaign, because you have to clean the mess also, which is done. Perhaps the metaphor is the ad that we are skipping in real life is civic sense. So that is a missing habit. Roughly 4,500 years ago, during the Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamia civilization, these two civilizations focused on building big structures, pyramid, temples and all. But we had Indus Valley civilization here. Their aim, world's first planned city, straight roads, planned buildings, drainage system, and even the world's first clay pot flush toilet. And each house had it, and it was centrally connected to a sewage system. So perhaps so much of importance given on cleanliness, and they had an entire land actually to go on littering, but they didn't choose not to. And somewhere along the line, I feel we moved from an Indus Valley to Indiscipline Valley. Fast forward today, when I see people answering nature's call on the roadside or on the footpath, I wonder who is primitive, they or now? Garbage piling up, honking, not for traffic rules taken as suggestions. I put a sticker behind my car, please don't honk, I stop only at red signal. And some smile and give a thumbs up, but few especially, I would say, mostly the yellow bird taxis, they take it as a personal challenge. And they honk even more, just to annoy me, saying that okay, you put a sticker where I honk more. And Gupta spit art on the wall, even MF Hussain will struggle to interpret what it is, right? So perhaps I think we are missed all that heritage that we had. And to give an example, do you know which country or citizen ranked among the best in the civic sense? Japan. So in Japan, the citizens, right, they pick the trash and put it in a backpack, and they carry it till they find the bin and then they throw it. Kids as young as 6 years old travel alone in public transportation. 6 years old. And they have a flag, so when a commuter sees, they stop immediately, they are alerted that the kid is passing. Just imagine a kid crossing a road in front of your house without supervision. Just in front of your house. And 6-year-old travels alone taking public transportation. That's not it. There is another example, like recent FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The Japanese spectators were seen picking up trash after the match. And this is not just one example, they do it everywhere. So perhaps it's not Jaisa Desh, Vaisa Base. So they behave the same everywhere. So the takeaway probably is to learn from them. And to call out, say, what we missed it, perhaps the habit that we forgot to build. And it's people are not respected because just because something we invented thousands of years ago, be it yoga, Ayurveda, arts, science, and all of this. But they respect because of what we live in society today. That's very important. And also, people following probably the rules, following. So, if you may ask me, okay, have we lost it all? Is there any hopes for us, right? You know, where is the Asia's cleanest village?
Northeast India.
Exactly, yeah. It's Molinong, it's in Meghalaya. So, we have an example right here. That village was not so always. Today it is a sparkling, clean village, 0 litter, and all villages following the rules till the last dot. Right? That means habit can be cultivated. Right? And the funniest part is, the same Indian, when he travels to Singapore or Dubai, becomes a law-avoiding monk. Yeah? So, no spitting, no honking, no jumping queues, no rush to get out of the plane. Right? That means we know the rules. We just think that, okay, it's like a foreign language, just to be spoken outside. Right? So I said that, Jaisa Desh, Vaisa Base. I think we should get rid of that and say we have to behave the same everywhere. Right? So habits can be built. It's not just with say campaign. Campaign definitely is needed, like Swachh Bharat campaign and all that, because that is very much needed. But what is more important even than campaign is if each of us make one shift, that no littering, no spitting, following rules, no honking and so on, then we will be worthy of the civilization of the glorious past. So we will be the custodians, worthy custodians of the glorious past. So, hello Toastmasters and guests. So what I would say is, if we can take a oath, maybe now New Year is almost beginning, 26th, as a resolution that we take on ourselves personally that, okay, let's not follow all these rules, and at least instead of teaching, more than teaching others, let's we ourselves follow, inculcate this habit. Then I think that missing habit, which I said that might be the one which is like a habit which makes us grow in our life and also make our country as a whole respected in the world today. Yeah. So that's over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balakrishna. Very insightful speech, and I think we have a lot to learn from his speech. Next up, for this speaker 3, we have an evaluator who is a technical and support business development for Sitanshuratan, and his talent is creative writing. Let's give a round of applause to welcome Toastmaster Shetty.
The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate the ability to deliver an effective, respectful speech evaluation speech. This is the second speech. The first speech has been evaluated, and the speaker needs to incorporate the feedback into the second speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ratan. Next up, we have a speaker who works as a Deputy General Manager at TTDC, and I know his talent. He's a talented speaker because I did one with evaluations. Let's give a round of applause for Toastmaster Nitesh Kumar with the speech title, The Butterfly Decisions. The Butterfly Decisions, Toastmaster Nitesh Kumar.
In a small town in Jharkhand, there lived a boy. That he was a shy, introverted kid, and his one passion was to paint. And he used to love painting. And despite being good at it, he never took part in any of the competitions, painting competitions in his school. Now that was about to change one day. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests.
Good evening.
One day, his teacher noticed it. She scolded him and said, "Hey kid, why didn't you take part in those painting competitions?" The kid tried to come up with certain excuses, but she did not listen. She forced him to participate in the next one. The kid reluctantly said, "Okay, I have no other option." He did participate in that, and to his surprise and to everyone else's surprise, he got the first prize that day. Then after that, there was no looking back. He kept participating in more competitions. After a certain period of time, even it did not matter to him whether he is winning or losing. The fear of getting judged by strangers did not even matter to him. This incident taught him one good lesson. That when you get out of your comfort zone and do what gives you the fear, that fear reduces little by little at each step. And this was just the beginning of his life. After a few years, when he grew up, he was in higher school, and he developed his interest in studies. I know, nobody develops his interest in studies, but he was a studious kid. His favorite subjects, maths and science. But whenever somebody asked him what he want to become in life, he had absolutely no idea. He saw those ads in newspaper, ITJ coaching center, AIEEE coaching center, and from there he got to know that engineering is a career, which aligned with his interest. So he decided to pursue it. But the people around him were not so encouraging. His cousin said, engineering, you won't be able to crack it. It's too tough. Prepare for something easy like diploma or ITI. That discouraged him a little bit. But then he thought, okay, if I aim for the sky, worst case scenario, I will land on the tree. But if I aim for the tree, worst case scenario, I will land back on the earth. With that thought process in his mind, he started to prepare for engineering. 2 years, countless nights burning the midnight oil. Finally, the D-Day came. The results were announced. He could not clear ITJ, he could not clear AIEEE. But just as he thought, if you aim for the sky, at least you will land on the tree. He cracked one state level engineering exam and got into a very good college. Why that happened? One decision that you took a couple of years back made it possible. It got in the career he wanted. Fast forward couple of years later, he was in another situation. This time, it was related to his health. You see, last couple of years, all he did was study, study, and study. And what happens to all work and no play? It makes Jack a dull boy. He was that dull boy. Little kid, frail, thin, and too weak. He could not even run for 1 kilometer. It felt him like a punishment. So he decided to change this and thought about taking his health seriously. He started working out, going to the gym, but he could not continue for more than a few months, and it kept on happening for the next few years. During his first job, when he finally settled in, he decided to take it seriously and be consistent. That's what he did. He started becoming consistent, started going to gym regularly, changed his food habits as well, and the results started to show. One day his company announced one race. It was not exactly a race, it was a challenge, to be precise. In that challenge, teams of 6 needed to carry a 12 kg sandbag with the help of few ropes and bamboo sticks for 15 kilometers, where the last 5 kilometers were uphill. In that race, when it started, just after half an hour, most of the teammates gave up. They could not lift it. He and his boss carried that load for more than 10 kilometers in the later part of that race. And they won that race by finishing it in just 2 hours, 10 minutes. That little kid who could not even run for 1 kilometer faced a challenge and completed it, who nobody will even attempt to. Why that happened? One small decision that he took a couple of years back to be consistent for his health resulted his strength, that built his strength in and out. Now, by this time you must be thinking, Nitesh, why are you telling us all these stories and why are you going with us all the details? And who is this little kid? Well, that kid is me. In my life, all the big changes have happened from small decisions only. In fact, standing here today in front of you is also part of one of those decisions that I took a couple of years back when I decided to join Toastmasters. I still remember my first speech. I was nervous like anything. I was shaking, I was trembling, and I thought I will forget my speech. Today when I look back, in fact today when I was coming here, that feeling was still there, but it reduced significantly. And I started to feel that every time I come to the stage, it reduces little by little. That's why whenever I get the chance to come to the stage, I say yes first and think about it later. One small decision, one act, over a period of time, brings the biggest change in your life. Over to you.
inspired speech. Now the password for the voting is 0525. I'll repeat it once again, 0525. Now we will take a 5-minute break, but we'll take a 5-minute break. Let's get back exactly on 5 minutes timer. Yes? Hope you all enjoyed the break. Now we will move on to the second segment, the most exciting segment actually, the table topics. Now the table topics master is an experienced HR consultant. When I asked her about her talent, she had a lot to say, so multi-talented as always. Let's welcome Toastmaster Himani Pandey.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As your table topic master today, I'll be sharing some interesting topics for impromptu speaking, and I'll call upon one of you here to speak for about 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, the timer will show green card. At 1.5 minutes, yellow card, and red card at 2 minutes, which means to stop. These are going to be very easy and fun topics. The objective of the session is to help us improve our impromptu speaking skills and structure our thoughts on the spur of the moment without any preparation. With that, let's get into the session. Best advice you received. Best advice you received. Toastmaster Vijayan.
Best advice I received is to mind my business. Madam Table Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Yesterday I was taking my car out of the apartment where I live, and to put things in context, there's a play school right directly opposite our house. And when mother to drop off her kid, she parked the car right in front of the gate, and I couldn't take my car out. So as soon as the lady came out, I started giving her some yarn. See, ma'am, understand. Civic sense. Someone spoke about civic sense. Right? Huh? Correct, Bala? Civic sense. You don't park your car in someone's driveway. How do you remove it? And then a teacher from the school came running. You know what she said? Please have a watchman. There was no watchman standing at the gate. That's why one of the parents of that kid parked the car there. Now, I want to ask you, is that right, friends? That means only if a watchman is there, you will not park in front of someone's gate. So I put it back to teacher. I said, ma'am, now just imagine, you're teaching tiny tots, 3 years, 4 years young. Just imagine you teach the kid. When the teacher is not there, hit your classmate. The teacher is there, don't hit. Or when the child grows a little older, when the teacher is there, don't copy. Teacher is not there, feel free to copy. So back and forth, lot of iterations kept on going. It didn't head anywhere. I realized at the end of the day, we had it turned nasty, it became ugly. I went to give her some advice and having civic sense, thinking of other people and don't disturb other people. And after all of this, it lasted about 5 sermons, like a speech at Toastmasters, the lady just one thing she told me: mind your business.
Thank you for sharing such a great advice, Toastmaster Vijayan. What you seek is seeking you. What you seek is seeking you. Toastmaster Abhinava.
Topic master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The topic I received today is what you're seeking is seeking you. Okay. So I think that a lot of times in life we're out to seek something. And there was a story I read about a beggar. This guy was begging on a railway station, and One day he approached one person who said, "No, I will not give you anything." He said, "Why, sir?" He said, "Give, be a little kind." So this fellow said, "Why should I give you anything? What have you deserved to get something from me?" He said, "I'm poor." And the man said, "You're poor only because you keep on asking, because you keep on seeking, and not because why you don't give." So this thought struck this beggar, and after a few days of thought, he started to give a flower to every person who gave him something. And in that whole course of giving and getting, he started a little flower business. His flower business grew a little large, and this guy soon he became a pretty good businessman. And he met that same gentleman again and gave him a bouquet of flowers, telling him that your advice really saved me. So I think in life, if you are seeking only to get, you may not get everything. But if you are seeking to give, and along with that attitude of giving, you will get a lot. So I think maybe things what you seek are seeking you, but only if you give, you will get.
That was a very nice take with a beautiful story and great message shared by Toastmaster Abhinava. Next topic, productive waste of time. Productive waste of time, Toastmaster Srinidhi Rao.
I think he's doing my money.
Okay, so I'll give the same topic to another person, Toastmaster Chirant.
I know the productivity and the waste of time. And you know the productive waste of time. Sorry?
You tell us, we
No, that was I have to come up with something, right? Productive waste of time. See, all I could think of is like when you act that you are productive in front of someone who is monitoring you. Right? That is where you're showing yourself is like you are being productive, you are doing hurriedly, or you are just screaming out, do this, do that, and all those stuff. But at the end of the day, what you are doing is like actually wasting time. So not only yours, another person as well. So stop doing this productive waste of time. It's not going to help you, it's not going to help the other person, or it's not going to help anyone. So do a productivity or do a waste of time. It doesn't matter. See, in the waste of time also, I don't consider it, nowadays the social media has considered as a waste of time. But you know, you get an entertainment in that as well. So whenever you go through a deep work and you need a relaxation, so there is a social media or a waste of time, you do it. But overall, you concentrate on your productivity. So that's it. I saw
That was a good attempt, Toastmaster Chirant, and in fact you shared a very good example of social media there. Next topic, staying focused, Toastmaster Bhaskar. Bharat. Staying focused, Toastmaster Bharat.
Myself Bharat. Last 6 years ago, I joined this club for one term. I was joined during that time, I was working in the ministry in SRP, Southern Regional Power Committee, as assistant director. My work was doing a lot of preparing agenda and collecting data from all the greenery generation companies. But I did not have a opportunity to speak public. So I joined here, but I couldn't focus because of lack of confidence in speaking to the public. Today, after 6 years, after going through different parts of this nation, and also by promotion, my job demands to speak with the people. So I need to focus. So that's the reason I rejoined this club, to stay focused on public communication skills as well as improve my confidence and well as develop leadership skills over to Toastmasters.
That was a great attempt, Toastmaster. Next topic. Ignoring morning alarm. Ignored morning alarm. Toastmaster Sharma.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
So, morning alarm is something a trauma for me. Starting from school day, my mom would put an alarm to go to school, and that's where my first journey with that morning alarm began. And eventually, that morning alarm thing went into college, wherein I became lax, putting that snooze button and missing my classes and missing all my fitness. Later on, I joined my job, and in Mumbai, therein I found out my blood reports were bad, just due to that morning alarm, that snooze button. The alarm hit so bad that my blood report was going to the borderline for the cholesterol itself at this young age. And that's when that morning alarm, that trauma, gave me the motivation to join fitness. Now, that trauma of morning alarm, of missing those snooze button, has pushed me to cycling, to running, and to swimming, and correct my blood reports without any medicine. So, what I would say is, morning alarm can be a motivation to new beginnings like sports for me. So, thank you.
Thank you. That really motivated us to wake up and not snooze our morning alarm. Dream big dreams. Dream big dreams. Toastmaster Thirumalesh. Dream big dreams.
Dream big dreams.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The topic of what I got is big dreams, big dreams. I guess every person in the world will be having some or other dreams. They want to become something. For example, when I'm in childhood, I want to become I was more fascinated with computers, all those things. When I was studying 6th standard, my father gifted me a computer. So from that time, I was fascinated by that. I wanted to know internals of the things, how it is working. So unlike nowadays, like we are all having laptops, all those things. So that time we were having separate CPU, monitors, and separate mouse key and speakers, all those things. I was just fascinated. On top of that, when we installed the game, how many of you played Road Rash here? So yeah. So I was more fascinated about playing that Road Rash game. So as days goes by, like I wanted to kept more interesting on becoming a computer engineer. So I took after 12th standard, even though I was not good at math or those things, but I was interested in programming all those things. So I was able to crack the 12th standard, and even though there is a lot of resistance from the home that not to go into engineering, I went into engineering, but by God's grace or whatever, I was able to crack the engineering with a good percentage. And I became an engineer, so that was my dream. But when I compare my current life situation and the politics, whatever happening in the corporate life, I better listen to my parents, whatever they were telling to me. So I could have saved from all this thing, because that time I was not knowing all this. We will be not only programming all those. I was thinking if I become a software engineer, they will give me a road rash game to play on those things. But the situation is completely different. When I got into engineering, I came to know we have to study all these programming, all those things. So yeah, but somewhat I was able to achieve my dream. So somewhat, even my parents were happy with that. So yeah, since I dreamed a big, I was able to achieve this thing.
Thank you for sharing your very honest thoughts on the topic. Next topic, talent requires practice. Talent requires practice. Toastmaster Shriya.
Good evening, everyone. Once again. Good evening. So as she said, talent does require practice because I have multiple talents. I'm not bragging, but generally one of those one of the talents that I would like to talk about is public speaking, which has become my hobby at this point. Because before I joined Toastmasters, I used to be very shy and never talk to, barely talk to anyone. Then I started joining, I joined the club, I started attending every week. I became a chatterbox. Anyone I meet, I started talking, my friends do you ever stop talking? do you even have a, stop, pause, some break or something? And I need to take breathe in order to, stop myself from talking. And that has become one of my passions, to talk to people, meet new people, and come to club and share my kind of gyan to everyone in this club. And another would be dance. I would not be displaying any kind of entertainment here, but I definitely love dancing, and that has grown over, years of practice and practice. Even though I dance somewhat okay now, but when it comes to classical dance, I'm a really good dancer. So that took a lot of beatings and practice. So if you think that you're bad at anything, just practice and you will be all perfect in no time. Okay.
Thanks, Toastmaster Shriya, for always bringing your best self on stage. Friends shape life. Friends shape life. Toastmaster Srinivas.
How many of you know Michael Schumacher? The famous car racer. Every time he comes on the racetrack, there is one person who gives instructions to him over the microphone. Right from his beginning, at 16 years old, when he started racing Formula 1 car race, at his background, there's one person gives instructions to him how to drive. Because as a car racer in Formula 1, the vision is very narrow. You cannot see what is happening in very fraction of seconds. The car speeds at minimum starts from 60 to racing at 300 kilometers per hour, in which all the decision has to be taken very quick, the instruction also to be given very quick. Even at the pit stop, you must have seen all 10, 12 people working together to fix the car within 10 to 12 seconds. The person who gives instructions right from his childhood is none other than his friend. He himself told in one of his interviews that my childhood friend shaped me who I am today. Whenever he's on a bed, he comes to his ears. Whenever he's in coma, he comes to his ears and says, Michael, we have a match tomorrow. The race begins at 9 a.m. Even Michael could not able to lift or come out of the bed. He clearly says to his friend, give all his instructions as if he was driving the car. That instructions made what Michael is today, and everybody remembers Michael Schumacher. Whenever on the road, when I see somebody wearing Michael Schumacher jacket with Ferrari, I remember his friend. The true friend is always create champions. Over to you.
That was an amazing take on the topic. Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivas.
one book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and there was a story which I was so fascinated. So it says about a person who believed in astrology, and this person went to an astrologer, and that astrologer saw his hand and then did something, and he said that you will be dead after 1 month. And then he said that, okay, is there any remedy? So this astrologer said, no, there's no remedy, you're going to be dead. And then this person got panicked, and then he went home and he started telling everybody that, I have met an astrologer and he told me that I'll be dead after 1 month. So he started making his will and everything. So he called all his children and then started making a will, and whatever property he had, he shared and everything. I know exactly after 1 month, he died in his sleep. So after this happened, after his funeral, after a week after this, there was a report that his astrologer was fake. This person was not real. So all his kids and all his spouse, they went to the person, to the astrologer, like, but how did this happen? Like, he actually died. So he said that this was a scam, but then because he truly believed that he's going to be dead, he actually died in that. So this actually, this story has, I was so scared of the story that, whatever you think and whatever you believe, it actually happens. So whatever you are telling yourself or whatever you believe in, you have to be very careful of what you tell, because our body reacts in that way, and all the circumstances can happen to make that possible.
Thanks, Toastmaster Goyal, for sharing that story and sharing your thoughts on the topic. Next topic, know your worth. Know your worth. Toastmaster Devashish.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Know your words. Since childhood, I only spoke, never listened to anyone. That means I never give importance to words what I speak. So nobody took me seriously, frankly speaking. Everyone just listened to me and just avoided. But recently something happened around 2-3 months back that I realized, because God has given 2 ears and 1 mouth. So let's listen from using our 2 ears and concentrate on the words. In an office assignment, I got annoyed, and in front of my 10 to 15 subordinates, I shouted on one of my colleagues, and he retaliated in a louder voice. So that time I found, yes, I have hurted him by shouting. The same manner he had also hurted me. So it's not the words that matters, the way we speak. At that time, the words I hurted to my colleague by shouting, I could have told to him in a lighter way, and the issue may have addressed. So since last 3 months, I started concentrating the words or focusing the words that I am using, the voice modulation that I have learned, and I believe that I will continue for future actually. Over to you.
Thanks, Toastmaster Devashish, for sharing that engaging personal story. Next topic, make time count. Make time count. Toastmaster Harish.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. First of all, thanks for giving this opportunity. Make time count. What I would like to say. Make time count. Actually, I'm trying to join here from last 2 months in Toastmaster. I'm so many days I'm trying. My superior also advised to join Toastmasters for a betterment of your communication skills and a betterment of your future. But I didn't got the opportunity, and finally with the consent of Chaitra madam, finally after the 2-3 times approached, finally madam accepted, and after that madam rejected also. I don't know the reasons. After that I consulted Amrith Kaur madam. After listening so many times, madam accepted to come this platform. Thanks for giving this opportunity, Amrith Kaur madam. I know why you rejected Chaitra madam. Definitely I will utilize this opportunity, and definitely one day Amrith Kaur madam feel proud about me. Thank you so much.
Very good attempt. Next topic, stop counting calories. Stop counting calories, Toastmaster Sugata.
This is a topic that is close to me because I do coach people on losing weight, and I usually start with, come on, go eat whatever you want, but then feel satisfied and report it to me. And what generally happens is they would eat pizza, they would eat all kinds of biryani, and then they would say, Subi, I feel very full and very happy, you are the best trainer. At this point, we are still keeping an eye on their weight, and they see that their weight is actually increasing, and then they realize, oh, actually this point is, this trainer is a bad trainer and we need to go to the another trainer. At that point I tell them, okay, let's start making count of the calories a little bit, not too much but little bit. At that point they go to the other extreme and they count every little thing and they get panicked again. So I teach them the extremes of how bad it is if you don't count calories, and also how bad it can be if you count everything and you can panic. So at that point, I find a middle ground and I tell them, okay, let's find a middle ground where you feel satisfied but also meet your calorie needs, and eventually you can stop counting at all and it becomes a subconscious decision to choose calories. So this is how I approach. Eventually, I want my clients to not count calories but feel happy and safe and satisfied with food options. Thank you. Over to you.
For embracing the topic with so much enthusiasm. Next topic, mind over matter. Toastmaster Vishal.
Last year, in December, for 4 days straight, I had 3 hours of sleep. Not every night, but for 4 days cumulatively. And yet, every day morning, I would wake up, be in Kavan Park, running at least 10 kilometers. At least 10 kilometers. Now, after a year, when I wake up, this cold Bangalore weather pulls me back into bed, and it stops me from even putting one step forward. Forget about 10 kilometers. I can't even do 10 meters now. Has something changed in me? Have I gotten weaker? Has my leg broken off? As you can clearly see, no. Has something changed? No. I am the same as I was last year. The same weight, same body composition, everything same. The only thing that changes is my attitude. I had decided that every morning, if I wasn't up at 5, the entire day is a waste. There's no point in even waking up, might as well sleep to day after tomorrow. But now I tell myself every night when the clock strikes 9, it's fine. 10 more minutes of watching my favorite show, 10 more minutes of listening to music, maybe 20 more pages of that really interesting book. And guess what happens? Next day morning, I do the 10-minute routine all over again at least 100 times. So no matter what happens, regardless of your sleep, regardless of anything, as long as your mind is willing, the body will fall into place. Train your mind and everything else will fall into place. Over to you, table topic master.
That was a very encouraging story. With that, we come to the end of the session. Thank you everyone for participating and for showing so much enthusiasm. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. With that, I hand over the reins of the meeting to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Himani, for carrying the show. Table topics is always a very informational session. So many things you learn, and to add to the subconscious mind, every entrepreneur I've spoken to, every founder I've spoken to has mentioned this book. I think if you guys do get an opportunity, do read that book, because the mind is truly the strongest power us humans have, not money, the mind. And moving on, now we're in the final segment, the evaluation segment. And for that, let me introduce you to our general evaluator, who is the Division B Director of Toastmasters. And for professionally, he's an entrepreneur and he's a trainer. And when I asked him about his talent, he said he would stay up all night to finish up any task given. Let's give a round of applause to welcome Toastmaster Shashank.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
So the role of the general evaluator is to evaluate the entire meeting from the time the meeting starts, right? In fact, even before the meeting started until the conclusion of the meeting, and to provide feedback on how the meeting went on and what could be improved in due course during the meeting. So let us dig in deep and analyze how this meeting has gone on till now. First of all, we say the meeting started at 6:30, but technically speaking, the meeting started at least 1 to 2 weeks in advance. It is the preparation for the meeting. The VP Education had finalized all the role takers and everything was in order. Agenda was also done well in advance. In fact, the PR also helped in promoting the meeting. I think the first poster came on Tuesday on main role takers. The speakers, evaluators poster was out on Wednesday, and the agenda was on the tag roles poster was on Thursday, and the agenda on Friday. So everything went on plan. So good job to the entire committee who made sure this meeting went on well. Can you round of applause for all of them? Specific to this meeting, the meeting started exactly at 6:30. As a tradition of our club, we are not late, we are always on time, and today was no different. We had the acting secretaries, Toastmaster Imtiaz, Akthar, Basha, who came onto the stage. Again, Toastmaster Imtiaz, you had a good stage presence. The moment you came and stood here, when you came here, stood, people got your attention, right? So you had a good stage presence, you spoke really well, you had free flow of thought, you had a smile on your face as well. You spoke about smiling, you had a smile on your face. You also spoke about the rules. So most of the job which a surgeon at arms has to do, you did it brilliantly. However, the couple of points which you could maybe tweak in, because you would be the actual surgeon at arms from next month. One is you made a point about roaming freely inside the room. Said you can roam in freely when you hear an applause. That's technically not right. You can walk in and out when you hear an applause. That doesn't mean you roam freely inside the room. And second point is you said let's welcome the president of our club. Technically, she is not the president yet. She still has a couple of weeks to go. When the president is not present in the room, the next person is called the presiding officer. So next time, make sure you use the correct terminology. However, I don't agree with one thing which happened today is when we had the sergeant-at-arms in the room. When we had Bhavana, the actual sergeant-at-arms in the room. While you can say it's for practice for next term, your time will come. Right? You would anyway have a transition period, you can practice off stage, but when sergeant-at-arms is present, I would expect the sergeant-at-arms to come on stage because you still have a few more weeks, Toastmaster Bhavana, to go on stage and rock the stage, right? So you could have taken that opportunity yourself for at least the next 2-3 weeks. He will anyway have 6 more months. So I think that is one thing which I don't agree with, but nothing to take away from the fact that Imtiaz did a brilliant job today. Can I have a round of applause for the sergeant? We had the presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Amrith, who came onto the stage, welcomed the guests, asked the guests to stand, welcomed them, welcomed the Toastmasters. One thing you missed when you introduced the guests or when you spoke to the guests is, fine, the guests stood, but you can also make a note saying during the break, meet the committee members. The DPM is not here today, but meet the committee members. Committee members, please stand, please talk to them. So during the break, at least interaction may happen. Or else during the break, they will not know what to do, they will be sitting with themselves. Now they know at least the point of contact for the committee members whom they can go and talk to. And you also had a nice free flow of thought, right? I could listen to you for the entirety. That's how good your speech was. You had a conversational tone in your speech. You were talking to us as if you were talking to your friends. So that was the best part about your speech as well. You spoke about procrastination, discipline, the regret, etc. So good job done. I think you're on the right path because next term when we hear you as the president, I think you're already taking major steps. However, one point which I would recommend as the president to be done is, as the president, it is your club, right? So you should try to talk about the club as well. Talk about the second oldest club in India, one of the legacy clubs. We recently bagged a couple of awards. Thank you members for helping us win Fast 5 award and Power of 20 award. So some achievements of our club, what our club is, maybe talk about some DCP here and there, or something which can promote what the club is, and the members should say, oh wow, what a club we are attending. So try to talk about those points as well in your next presidential address. But great job done today. Can I have a round of applause for the president of the club. We also had the secretary come onto the stage and share the minutes of the previous meeting. We had an education session, evaluation workshop at Toastmaster Club. We had the elections as well. So she did her best to remember all the names. However, to nitpick, if I may, you said he was the sergeant-at-arms, or he was the, he will be technically speaking, but you can say he was elected as a something because when you framed it, it appeared as if he was the, let us read him only for that name. So that's how it came out. Maybe you could have corrected that, but all in all, you did a good job. Great job keeping in mind, remembering all the names. So a round of applause for our secretary, please. Yes, we then had the Toastmaster of the day. I will come back to him later because I have a few more points written about the Toastmaster of the day. I will make note of him later as well. We then had the prepared speech segment. The first speaker was Toastmaster Abhinava Shastry, who was evaluated by Toastmaster Mahesh Lokesh. Can I invite Toastmaster Mahesh to come on stage to evaluate the speaker class?
If you're always trying to be normal, you don't know how amazing you are. By Maya Angelou. Good evening, Toastmasters and Abhinava in specific. Good evening. Today, our speaker demonstrated exactly of this quote of being authentic and who he himself is. Let's quickly look into what are the areas where he excelled into. As an icebreaker, let me reiterate the purpose of the speech. It's concentrating on the basic structure of a public speech and introducing himself to the club. The first point which I want to highlight in this particular speech is authenticity. how natural and how he honestly and refreshingly mentioned about his confidence levels, present and the past various instances in his life. Let's be honest, even as an evaluator when I am here and anyone who's on the stage, people feel nervous. So it's natural, and even an experienced speaker he might feel nervous, but the levels might be different. The second point which I noticed in this speech was his effective use of body language. When he mentioned the political debate in a school, he was in right center of the dais and he took just a left stand and went on to the podium. So I think this was very, very enacted and related to the audience. The third point which I want to highlight in this was his eye contact. He made sure that he moved his eye and head throughout the audience and made sure he looked into each and every person sitting in the audience. So I think that is a very good skill of a speaker. The fourth point which I want to highlight is the tone of the speech. When he mentioned, when his uncle introduced to Toastmasters, he mentioned, snacks. So he knows when to increase his tone and when to decrease it. Is a very good skill of an effective speaker. And very important point, I think, of a very excellent and a good speaker is that sharing of anecdotes. This speech was filled with anecdotes, sharing about his natural and life instances across various stages. From asking his parents about when was the Diwali or his political debate in the college. And one more thing was that his well-timed humor. He knew to when make the people audience go laugh. And when he specifically mentioned climbing stairs is not counted as mountaineering. With this, if I may add some suggestions to the speech was that when he came onto the dais, he was very much confident. But as soon as he tried to address the audience with, "Are you guys comfortable?" I think that rapidly decreased the confidence of the speech, which could have been improved. Overall, reiterating the purpose of the speech, introducing themselves to the club and basic structure of the public speech, I think this was addressed in the speech and over to the table topic, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mahesh. You spoke about both the roles, but other than the actual role. Anyway, I will share my feedback on the evaluations later. The second speaker was Toastmaster Balakrishna Rao, who was evaluated by Toastmaster George. Can we have George for evaluation?
Good evening, Toastmasters, and all my dear guests, and especially today's speaker, Balakrishna. It's a privilege for me to evaluate your speech. First of all, congratulations. I think what you mentioned was in a very short notice you put other speakers this thing today. Really honest to you. So the scope of the speech was to analyze your body language and specifically on the voice modulation. So let me sum up in acronym by E for voice. You started with a very relatable story of the cinema, where you were all carried away and seen all the futuristic of people smoking, people spitting and making a different image on the wall. Yeah, so it was very relatable. You also mentioned about the famous dialogue of Ajay Devgan, Bolo Subha Kesari. Yeah, you had you very well said, but also it could have been amplified. You had a golden opportunity taking the similar style of Ajay Devgan of Bolo Subha Kesari. It might be much better. You would have seen. I would have not animated the similar way in YouTube or something. Yeah, you had that opportunity to fill one checklist of this scope of this project. Second is on intention. You delivered your speech with a clear intention of giving a message of civic responsibility. What we are, lecturing, honking, taking care of the society more, how we need to have that etiquette within the society when we are in the honking and many things. It was very clearly done. But slightly, when you, long story short, but when you given a final message, if you have toned down and slowed down your message in a very emotional and very strong, you would have been much more immerse that message into our mind and engrave or etch that message into our mind. But very well done, the message is being taken. Third is on the B on body language. You are very confident, you didn't came behind, hidden behind the lantern. Yeah, you were in the middle of the stage and you started to speak with the open arms. Your body gestures, you are very confident, your eye contact was very good. But some of the humorous things, like you thought about spitting, you would have been one more golden opportunity coming here, keeping it up like a local voice, opening it up, some kind of all those will bowing it down a little bit. We are not such a means we don't do that, but you would have been enacted it. So that's one. It's all thing on each of the pillar would have been taken to the next level by enacting it. So engaging, your conversation style was very natural, you are very serious, and your message was very clear. But amplifying your voice modality, your pace, pitch, your toning down when there is a strong and clear message what has to be given, and also some humorous would have been engaged. Overall, your delivery was clear, relatable, and very motivational. Keep it up, thoroughly enjoyed, and I look forward for your future speeches. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster George. The third speaker was Toastmaster Nitesh Kumar, who was related by Toastmaster Sitanshuratan. Can I invite you on stage for evaluation, please?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, and Toastmaster Nitesh Kumar in particular. Toastmaster Nitesh Kumar, you gave us a speech, you delivered a speech on what I would call is how one should evolve. Like you spoke about the butterfly decisions. What you meant was that a small decision can help you evolve over a period of time and create a great impact. In order to evaluate your speech, I would like to use the same acronym, EVOLVE, where for me, E was enunciation. So how did you, what I felt, Toastmaster Nitesh, was that you enunciated your speech in a very nice manner. Everyone was able to understand each word that you spoke. That's a great strength that you have. Number two, for me, when I come to V, I would look at finding one's voice. Finding one's voice is not shouting on the top of a roof. It's about expressing oneself clearly, and you expressed yourself with pauses. You had pauses at the right moments, and were you able to understand what Toastmaster Nitesh was able to say, fellow Toastmasters?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I hear only half of the people say yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, this is my evaluation. Yes, you were able to communicate yourself because you had pauses, clear pauses. Coming to the third part, which is organized. How well organized was your speech? Did it have an opening? Yes. It had an opening which led to a story. The story had 3 specific sub-stories or 3 points that you wanted to highlight. So that was good. The organization was good, and it had a conclusion too. Coming to L. You know, the beauty of a good speaker is the way he or she connects with the audience. So Toastmaster Nitesh was actually able to evoke laughter when he spoke about studies and how one is really hesitant, reluctant to get into speech. So he evoked laughter, which is great. So these were the strengths. If I were to give you a couple of areas of improvement, they would be: number one, vocal variety. When I say I came first, it's just that loudness in the voice which communicates the fact that you are excited that you came first. Okay, so vocal variety is one. Second is the end. I wouldn't say you squandered the opportunity to utilize those additional 40 seconds, but yes, you could have emphasized a summary and a conclusion, ended with a bang. You did great in terms of the objectives. You reduced the delivery speed, you were clear to understand, and unwanted hand movements were not there. But as you said, you aimed for 3 points. You should have been more performative in terms of your vocal variety and the conclusion. All the best for your next speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. We also have the fourth evaluator today who will be evaluating the first evaluator, Toastmaster Mahesh's evaluation. Can I request Toastmaster Sheeb to come on stage for his evaluation, please?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Good evening to the speaker as well as for the evaluator. In Toastmaster, an evaluation is like a mirror, except here the mirror talks. Toastmaster Mahesh, you had a very clear, because evaluation, just like a speech, it is also a speech, right? With a clear opening, a body and a conclusion. You had a quote, a right quote, which actually could relate to the speech of the speaker. And that was absolutely, the beginning was very good. And the toughest task for an evaluator who is actually beginning his journey is to find the good points in the speech. But you not only had 1 point, you had almost about 6 very good points which the speaker had exceedingly done very well. And I like the way you analyze your speech, because those 6 points tells that your analyzing power, your analyzing ability, your observation, your listening ability, active listening is very good. And 1 point which is standing out for me is you actually picked out that vulnerable side of the speaker, because when the speaker speaks with vulnerability, he conveys authenticity. That's what exactly the speaker today did. Kudos to you on that, and your recommendation was also on dot, because I also felt that the most important part of the speaker is the beginning, the opening, because if the speaker gets the opening done well, that is where the speaker gets the confidence, and from that platform the speaker can actually build his speech. So today, the speaker, when he came, he was a little erratic. Maybe one thing he could have done is, you could have told the speaker how to do that. You actually gave him an advice. What is the tool? What is the method? The method is just script your opening speech, and it's like memorize that if possible, and come and deliver. Because when you deliver that, you know that you're begun well. Well begun is half done. And so I feel that you, as I said earlier, the good qualities an evaluator requires is observation skills and critical evaluation skills through critical listening. And it's a challenge to come here in about half an hour time and give a speech, and you have done a fabulous job. And I just want to repeat, like both of you as well as the speaker, the quote which you said, if you try to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you are. And the speaker as well as the evaluator, you both have done an amazingly good job, and all the best for both of you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sheeb, for the evaluation. Now, since we have, in this term we had the humorous speech and table topics contest, and in the next term we have the evaluation speech contest and the internal speech contest. So we'll focus more on the speeches and evaluations today as part of my general evaluation session. Again, as a general evaluator, my duty is not to evaluate the speakers because they are evaluators for that. It is the duty to evaluate the evaluators. Let us look at how the evaluators fared today. The first evaluator, Toastmaster Mahesh, specific points because we are running short of time. The project was icebreaker, and this is for both first and fourth evaluator, I think Mahesh as well as Toastmaster Sheeb. The project was icebreaker speech where the speaker had to talk about himself, introducing himself to the club and the basic structure of the speech. We should not be critical in talking about body language, vocal variety, etc. because it is not relevant yet. Because that's the second or third project of the pathway. So it is not required yet. So what we should focus on specifically is, did the speaker have proper structure in his speech? Did he introduce himself to the club well or no? For example, regarding structure, you could have said that he spoke everything, and towards the end he said, also I do mountaineering, also I write in the book. So if that was part of the speech and he could have structured it well, maybe it could have come out even better. So we could have touched upon that aspect. Second evaluator, Toastmaster George. Again, the speaker's project requirement was on vocal variety. You also had valid points, but you also spoke about the body language, you enacted spitting, but all good points taken. But however, the eventual requirement was using vocal variety. You said what is to be done, but somehow you missed on saying how it is to be done. Maybe for example, when I think the conclusion of this sentence was a powerful line. Instead of narrating like a line, he could have said, so this is what we should do next. So that delivery he could have emphasized on, because the eventual focus was on vocal variety in this. So he could have added more emphasis on how to change his voice and how to do it, more than saying what to do it. Toastmaster Ratan, Shetty, the third evaluator. Just a quick confirmation, did you talk about the previous feedback and what specifically was that in this evaluation? Okay, I forgot to make a note of that because this is the second project on evaluation and feedback. If proper emphasis is given on what was the first feedback given and did you do justice to that or no, maybe the evaluation could come out very well. So I missed to make a note if you specifically mentioned that or no, but that is the focus of that evaluation. But all in all, just sum up the evaluations. It's better to talk about what the speaker said, talk about the good points, talk about the recommendation, then summarize it well. Because if you look at the judging ballot for evaluation contest, there is marks given for proper closure as well. So how do we summarize, well, was the tone good or no? Let us focus on that going forward. Next we had the table topics session happening, the table topic master. Okay, before that, can you have a round of applause for all the speakers and evaluators? The table topic master was Toastmaster Himani Pandey. Himani, again you raised the stage. I think you did a brilliant job today. The good thing about your session today was the topics you gave out. It was not the typical questions which we are asked every week, right? Because for every question we have an easy answer. So today's topics were thought-provocative. It was not an easy one to attempt, but that is what is sometimes required at the end of the day. So the topics were really good. So good job on that. You also added nice fillers between the speeches. It was not that the first speaker is done, okay, thank you, second speaker. We didn't do that. So you added, summarized the speech very well. So great job done. However, a couple of points for you. When you started, maybe you could have smiled a bit more, made people comfortable, because when we hear table topics, people are scared, right? So just to set the tone right, smile, have a small icebreaker with them, just to make them comfortable, so that when they come on stage, they're very well, they're comfortable at least. And well, it's not a complaint, but I observed that you had two of the best speakers of our club call in the initial part. I think it was Vijay, Anand and Abhay. Abhay is the TT champion of the club and Vijay is one of the best speakers of the club. What you could have done is you could have added a mixture of new members and then experienced members, so that we can have, right, if we exhaust all the good speakers in the beginning, then towards the end, I'm not saying others are not good, but I'm just saying that we can divide the speakers evenly so that there is equal interest throughout the session. A great job done today. Can we have a round of applause for the table topic? Before moving on to the tag team, I will quickly focus on the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster George Method. Again, we did a great job in taking us to the theme. He spoke about the theme, he gave us a lot of examples on what is to be done. And again, the best part about his speech, what I liked in the initial part was, once he gave his opinion on the speech, he linked it to Toastmasters. He linked it to how Dr. Raj's medley started and what was missing and how could, what happened, etc. So that was brilliantly done. You also did pillars between speeches, between the first and second speaker. So that's the essence of being a good Toastmaster of the day. You need to connect the speakers and evaluators well, which you did. You also spoke about the structures of the meeting because we have a lot of guests also today with us. So in the beginning, if we talk about what are the different structures and how it goes, we did that brilliantly as well. However, a couple of points for you to take home, and this is for all the other Toastmasters of the day speaking forward as well. One is in your case, I personally felt that energy and enthusiasm was missing today. And if I have to tell you why, it is mostly because we were reading from the script. If you would have spoken naturally, because it takes 2-3 minutes to at least memorize what is written before the first segment, at least before the prepared speeches, come here and speak naturally. Look at us and speak. We will look at you. But half the time you were trying to stand behind the podium, you were trying to read from this, so that connect somehow was missing. What you could have done instead, add some interaction points. Talk about the talent which you have, or just have some interaction with the audience so that they also feel included in your speech. Second point is regarding the introductions. I think when you said she was a teacher, I believe, I think she took offense to that. And you also spoke a lot about Toastmaster Himani's introduction, but you did not tell us what. You said she is multi-talented, but you didn't even mention what single talent is. So I know she also felt bad later. But the last point is, again, we sometimes will have evaluations of evaluators as well. So if you could have discussed with the VP8 on how to tackle it better, whom to call first, instead of doing that during the meeting, if you could have done that well in advance, I think that would have been much better instead of having that last minute confusion. And during the break, we can also talk about the fact that we have washrooms to the right and right again, so that the guests would know where the washrooms are. Quick announcement could have done, but brilliant job today. You had good command over your language, great accent. We could listen to you again all day if you want. But great job done. Can you round of applause for the Toastmasters? For the tag team, we have the timer, Toastmaster Manish, Goyal. Can I request you to come on stage and give your time?
Everyone done the fantastic job to meet the timeline. So every speaker was on the time, if I include the grace time as well. Every table topic speaker was on the time. And every evaluation was on the time. So kudos to every speaker who came here or did finish their speech on the allotted time. So as I conclude this report, I just say, every time you finish the things within the allotted time, you build some credibility. And that credibility builds the trust. And if everybody knows that this compounds with every instance. So keep doing it till you become perfect.
Thank you very much. So your training report was crisp and short. But one point is when you came on stage at the beginning, when you were showing the cards, you were covering your face and showing the cards. Maybe you could have shown here, because when you initially came here and spoke about your timing rules, show your face well, you could have shown the cards from here. But great job done. As the counter, we had Toastmaster Sonal, and we have the report, please.
So, Toastmaster Abhinava, Toastmaster Malesh, and Toastmaster George have used the filler word more than 15 times. Toastmaster Abhay has used filler time between 5 and 10, and Toastmaster Sheeb, Toastmaster Vishal, Toastmaster Vijayan, Toastmaster Mahesh, and Toastmaster Sheeb has used 0 filler words. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonal, again for a crisp report. However, I would have loved to listen to what were the clutch words used. Because I'm sure not many of them will come and check your book and look at what were the clutch words used. We could have focused on which word was used more and how to control that, or specifically, that would add more value to the Arnold's report. Maybe you can structure it saying or so. I remember a couple of speakers started by saying, so my name is so and so I'm talking about this. That will not make sense. So such words can be marked and say, so was unnecessary used, or the highest usage, something of that sort, just to keep it different. A great job done. A round of applause for As a grammarian, we have Toastmaster Rashi. Can we have the grammarian's report, please?
character versus convenience. These are some of the phrases that stood out. One small club with one big idea. The ad that we're skipping in real life is civic sense. Indus Valley to indisciplined valley. Law-abiding monk. Burning the midnight oil. All work and no play made Jack a dull boy. Say yes first, think about it later. On the spur of the moment, what you seek is seeking you. Dream big dreams. Subconscious decisions. As long as the mind is willing, the body will follow. The butterfly decisions. Vulnerability, evoke laughter. Well begun is half done. These were some of the few good usages. Moving on to the improvements, being on the time could have been said as being on time. Present the reporter of the timer should have been presenting the timer report. Step to that podium should have been step onto the podium. New year is almost beginning should have been new year is almost here. In very fractions of seconds could have just been in fraction of seconds. Shaped me who I am today should have been shaped who I am today. And demonstrated exactly of this quote should have been demonstrated exactly this quote. Lantern should have been lectern. And yes, these were the improvements. The word of the day was used only by two people, Toastmaster Abhinava and Toastmaster Ratan. I hope I've not missed anyone, and I still encourage all of you that this week you try and use the word squander in your language when you're talking to your friends, just so that you get accustomed to that word and it fits into your language. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I'll quickly summarize the meeting with a few general points. First point is, I actually felt guilty to come on stage today because I thought I was not appropriately dressed for the occasion. I was not supposed to be in the GE today, but one and a half hours before the meeting started, I was asked because the actual GE was not available today. I thought I always come dressed with a blazer if you have seen me for rules. But when I can do this, I also expect that the members who come on stage for speeches or evaluations at least to dress up well, right? So I think Nitesh and other table topic speakers, at least on Friday evenings when you come here, because if we dress well, I think that will give us 10% extra confidence on stage. Because when we are dressed up well and stand here, that confidence peaks automatically. So we can try to make sure at least on Friday evenings we can try to come dressed in formals. Second is the small observation, but still I would usually try to keep this table clean and not have anything else other than what is required, other than maybe certificates and the book. Other trophy box or the seal box, etc. can be kept inside. Even here, I would recommend that instead of having this magazine book and the guest book here, if we keep it there, at least people can read the magazine. Because if we keep it here, I'm 100% sure no one will come near the podium. So last time I gave feedback on the trophies, very well taken and implemented from the next meeting itself. Maybe we can move the magazines and other guest books there, so that the guests can also look at turn the pages and see what is there in that, so that at least people will open those books. And yeah, I think one small suggestion going forward is, again, the theme sometimes is a long sentence. What we should try to do is, if we select a theme for a specific meeting, there should be some nice takeaways from the theme as well. So let us try to keep it shorter and themes where we can learn something from that and implement it in our lives as well. So instead of having it long, because I really can't remember the theme and I can't read out without looking at the board. So you can try to keep it shorter and to the point. I think like how Himani had the table topics today. Shorter and crisper would make more sense. But all in all, a great meeting today. As always, I think if we only try to bring in more members back to the club, interact with the guests, convert guests to members, because our club is always known to have houseful, right? So there's no chairs empty usually during the meetings, but we'll try to bring that mojo back, try to convert guests also to members, talk about the benefits, etc., so that we always will have fellows at the club. But a great job today, great job by the committee. Thank you for being here today. All of you came on stage, really rocked the stage. Thank you very much for the opportunity. The password for the voting link I think is shared with all of you is again 0525. 0525 is the password shared in your members WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for that clinical evaluation, Toastmaster Shashank. To wrap it up, super honored to be here as a Toastmaster of the day. Ever since I started my Toastmaster journey, this is the second time I believe I'm the Toastmaster of the day. Most challenging part of the meeting, I believe, is the Toastmaster of the day, followed by the general evaluator. So super happy to be with you guys. Wonderful audience. You guys laughed with me as well. Super happy about that. Thank you guys. With this, I will be giving it back to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Amrith. Thank you.
Right, can we once again have a big round of applause for all the role takers? Before we do our award ceremony, can I just request the first-time guests to raise their hands? Okay. All right. So after the meeting, or as we end the meeting, please collect your snacks and meet Balakrishna outside. And if any other guests also have any question regarding Toastmasters, please join in for a briefing. Now let's quickly get to awards. The Best Speaker Award goes to someone who shared how that civic sense can be cultivated. Toastmaster Balakrishna. The next award is for the Best Auxiliary Role Taker, and the award goes to our grammarian who taught us what are the best words that are used in the meeting today. Toastmaster Rashi Palgota. Okay. The next award goes to the Best Table Topic Speaker, and for that we have someone who shared with us that to get something, first we have to give something. Toastmaster Abhinava. Okay, now the Best Evaluator Award goes to someone who shared his evaluation with the word evolve. Toastmaster Sitanshuratan. And lastly, we have the Best Role Taker Award to someone who was invited to take up the role just an hour and a half before, Toastmaster Shashank. I think that's the spirit of the club, that even despite of being in district director, at last minute notice, you come, show up, and also dress down. With that, I will close the meeting number 1505.